the farmers market business in this completely backwards way. So we're a commercial land trust. We buy and we develop dilapidated like commercial properties in Anchorage with the goal of bringing in needed goods and services. So we took an old pawn shop and made it a community health clinic. We took an old gas station, made it a bank. We had this vacant parcel that we were waiting a developer. We wanted to develop it commercially. And after 10 years, no one was fighting. And so our board said, well, please do something on it. People are asking questions why we have this different lot. And so I don't know who had the idea, but someone said farmer's market, and that's why we started a farmer's market, because we had a vacant lot we needed to do something with, which is a very strange reason when we are in this space. But we had a great experience starting it last year. So we have one example of site prep where we started with a completely vacant lot, and we did it the cheapest way, right? This is the infrastructure you need when you're starting with nothing. Our big investment this year is going to be grading and graveling our lot. So this is the very bare bones, first year you just need, the basics to run stands at us and get parking and run market.
Hi everybody, I'm Will. I'm from the Washington State Farmers Market Association, and thank you. Nice to see you all again. So we did a workshop called Securing Your Site, Making Your Site Permanent at our last conference, which was a month ago, in which Robbie came to. And the focus of that workshop was just different ways that you can consider your site for long term, because so many markets, they get started and they don't, they can move around a lot. And for a lot of years in Washington State, the only idea of a long-term or a permanent site was when you built a big covered roof and you did this big giant community development project, which in Olympia was a $5 million project, in Bellingham was a $2.5 million project. And those were kind of started in the 90s, and that was a big push in the 90s. And what we found is that sometimes it works out great, and sometimes it's a real stress on the farmers market organization, because now you have to do the upkeep on a big building like that, and that can drain energy away from actually having the farmers market and supporting your goal of selling produce to begin with. We have other markets, like in the city of Seattle, where the University District is one of the largest in the state, and it's been in the street or in a parking lot next door forever. So what they're trying to do is make sure that market can be there in perpetuity. So that's their way. They'll always be set up and take down, but trying to find ways to negotiate long-term leases that they can be there in perpetuity. And that's more of a situation that other communities are doing. So I can speak to some of those questions or topics. But I'll let these guys go elaborate first.
Sure, yeah, we'll go through our thing first. And then I want to hear from the crowd about, your challenges when you were starting. I feel like we're kind of the baby market at this conference, and get advice, especially with regards to layout as we go into our second season. This is such a learning experience for us. So you heard from Radical about who we are as an organization. The neighborhood that we serve is about 7,000 people. Mountain View in Anchorage is the most diverse neighborhood in the nation, according to census results analyzed by a sociologist at UAA. And it's also one of the pocket of poverty in Anchorage. Average income is like $30,000 to $35,000 compared to Anchorage as a whole, like 75 median income. And we wanted to activate the space, as Radhika said, and give the opportunity to Mountain View residents to bring people across the city into our neighborhood. It's a neighborhood that combats extreme stigma after having really terrible food in the 80s and 90s, and give people a chance to see our food culture and people. And so, our site is a vacant lot, and it had no running water, no power, no public restroom facilities, anything like that.
There was definitely a metal pole sticking out of the ground.
We spray painted that orange so you would see it. Okay, that was the extent of seeing it.
Wow,
it didn't deter people. It's okay. The pros of the site, it was high visibility. It was right along our main Mountain View corridor. We have a very walkable central neighborhood structure. It's very dense and kind of grid pattern, so it was in a walkable location. Part partner-rich as an organization, so we're able to get good community buy-in. We've got strong relationships with both businesses and residents, and we own the site, obviously, so that is a challenge that is not faced. I feel like most markets here have to pay, fees for their site, and we're very lucky in that we own the site we're on. The cons, of course, power, water is bumpy, but you'll see future. Yeah, I watched kids running around over in the field, and it was just like, it's kind of fun. And it can be loud sometimes. We're right next to the street, so again, visibility, but high traffic at peak rush hour time. And we went through some hoops that might not actually be necessary for next year, but permitting, noise, event permitting. We're only cash only. It kind of relates to the Snap presentation in that our device, we didn't pay for it to be able to accept credit cards. It only does Snap EBT. And so we just direct people happily to the gas station next door that has an ATM. And again, our Snap, the infrastructure for that is mobile. Of course, we used Radica's iPad. And we bought a mobile hotspot at Best Buy, and we could put a little track card type, you just prepay for how much data you want, and reusable cards like that, kind of like a track one. And then, let's see, the way it would work on site setup on market days would be, we put down a display shed from Costco.
They gave me a discount because I bought the floor model.
Yeah. Good move.
Great story there of we separated it in half, put it on two separate trailers, and we hauled it
Across the highway.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
a great story. But yeah, storage on site, thought about doing connex. This ended up to really suit our small market way better. But that means unloading everything from the shed, picking the market, putting it all back. It's very pop-up style. We have portable picnic tables, portable tents. Everybody, I think, is familiar with that stuff. And made volunteers incredibly important to us, although we're certainly lucky to have the staff of Land Trust changing out folks' jobs all the time. We had great market vendors who would come early and help us volunteer and set up everything. So essentially creating the space, much like activating the space. So we had to go put down where parking was, put down the cones, put out all the signs. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that, but it was a lot of directing people, that type of infrastructure that had to go down. We tried a whole bunch of different things, putting out caution tape. The way that you get into our lot, I think there's a picture of it on there, but you can only right turn into it, and one of the exits on the lot, you can't turn left, and that just creates some weird access issues, which I hope we can do with better this summer. And much like the word pop-up implies, we had a little performance tent with no other infrastructure. So when we're trying to get local entertainers to come by, it really fits a certain niche of people's abilities to come. We've definitely had performers say that they weren't coming because we didn't have the sound system they needed or wanted, or they didn't have a stage. We had a blanket on the ground.
Jeez,
Sweet
so much.
Did Cal Ostermiller ever make it?
One more time?
Did Cal Ostermiller ever make it?
Yes, I would say Cal was our number one. Yeah, he would always pick up the market.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Every market. Every market. I would sleep and hear Puff the Magic Dragon. Cal was awesome. It was a great opportunity for local neighborhood artists too. We had worked with Jasmine Smith and do all the performers who did the Mountain View Street Fair, and we had dancers and singers, and it was really great. But again, so the lack of infrastructure for performance and music made it, it was very artist self-selective. And our seating was pop-up picnic tables that we installed in our office and put together and then dragged them over in a truck, and it was great. And then during the market season, as we went along, it got bigger. I was able to say the first market was about 5 vendors, and I was expecting many more that day, and that kickoff was it took a stumble, but by the end, we had 20 plus vendors, and that was great for our first year.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We did a lot of changes. The first market, it was completely differently oriented. That was a learning experience. We changed it, and it worked out so much better. We put parking where they had been previously. It was about being really adaptable. I think that was a good lesson learned. Little fun improvements throughout the thing. I think you'll see on the back, we put up our own, how did we get these? Bike racks? And they were at our building, and we just took them and put them on a lot. Right?
That's how you take it. That's what you
You
get.
just do what you gotta do.
Oh, yeah.
So we just like put them in ourselves, and we themed a whole day around it, working on the social media. We had a bike day. We partnered with REI. They came and did a pop-up tent and did free bike repairs for kids in the neighborhood.
Cool.
Right? So you
That's
really gotta
really-
it's fun to learn to bounce
phenomenal.
off of things that we do that seem really small, but then could be really huge. Megan.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah,
Just
go
in
ahead.
regards of like events and things, do you have a specific time at each market that there's an event going on, or is it an all-day thing? Like, what's your strategy in that?
So our market time is shorter than yours. Ours is only 3 to 7. We're
Mm-hmm.
doing Thursdays 3 to 7. So it kind of was like market days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole 4 hours usually.
So it's
with,
like
different
that whole
options.
chunk.
Yeah, and I think we're going to work on getting more theme days, maybe trying to make every market, every other market a theme day. We had less this time. We did things like Kids Day, and we wanted to do Dog Day because the neighborhood business of ours is Petco, and that takes some corporate hoops to jump through actually to get things like that approved for their like outreach tents to come look at our market and things like that. But definitely REI Bike Day again. We have. I think we organized a day, a local bike ride from AP.
From,
the markets, yeah. So that
Nice.
was really a great bounce between our two markets, and I'm really glad we got to work with you on that.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bike ride from market to market, especially if they're sort of near each other and they can do that very easily.
Bike Anchorage helped organize that. Yeah.
So really, I mean, I want to give Will time to speak definitely, but I think that one of the things we are hoping to get from you is we've got a completely vacant lot. This year, our board and our organization is finally comfortable with the idea of putting some money into the site. So we're going to build a garden at the back. We are going to grade the site. We're going to put some gravel down. So we want to hear, I mean, 20 years out, 30 years out, like if you had a completely blank canvas to work with, like what should we be focusing our time on? Like landscaping, like this is it dirt?
It's just dirt and bumpy. I will say, it's just weed, just terrible. I'm so excited.
Well, it used to be an RV parking lot.
Yeah, Barbie.
Yeah. So that's like what we want to hear from you, right? Like if you had a blank canvas, like what would you do with it?
I know. So Friday Flings in Palmer, they have a performance stage and maybe about 10 plastic benches that they set out. And me being the new transitioning market manager last year, I noticed that people would utilize those benches. Here's the music going on, and then just run down the center of the market. Okay, but then we have these trees here, and then we have the visitor center museum here, and I started to notice families were getting away from using these benches and going into the shade and congregating, but they were sitting on the ground. And I'm going, this is not good on both sides. So I got the board to approve me to purchase some more picnic tables and more benches so that we could actively put them in these tree groves, little areas, so that families could. And so I found that when the performances were over, I actually moved them and put them into the trees, and people were so appreciative of the fact. And it was nice to see people that didn't know each other actually sit there and have conversations. So it kind of opened up that community thing. So seating, I found for ours was one area that we were going to target this year, and I was lucky and blessed that my board wanted.
What I'm getting from you is that we should plant trees on our completely vacant lot.
Have trees donated.
There's one tree. There's a little shrub in the middle.
Yeah, have
Edible
trees. Save
orchard.
somebody
Yeah.
to donate.
It's going to do a garden.
Yeah, there was
edible
a
orchard.
time they were sitting out in the elements. We only budgeted to have 3 tents, one for the market manager tent, one for our nonprofit. We allowed one nonprofit partner per
Yeah, we
market
did too.
to come, and then we would have one for the performance tent. And so oftentimes that just totally left the picnic tables out in the open, and I would really like to fix that.
Yeah.
I do you have a question?
Site design, if you're going to consider those trees could be not only shade and an inviting space, but also wind block.
Yeah.
Because wind
And noise.
We did.
And noise, yeah.
That was our solution.
If they're right on the road.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't do wind blockers because we found it actually takes the 10 by 10s and tries to throw them up in the air. So every time we've had a wind blocker situation, it was usually somebody's tent. Just didn't work out. Nature said, "Oh, what are you doing over there?"
So what is the land trust giving you to work with the designer?
Me and you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just like we are a 5-person staff. Like we kind of just get an idea in our heads and like
Give me
buy some
give
paint.
me a
and do it.
call.
We will,
Yeah, for sure.
we happened to run into, so Peter Briggs with Corvus is
Yeah.
potentially going to give us some help. He's done plenty of that landscape design stuff and great.
Maybe it could be like a contest.
Design.
Design.
Yeah, design. Yeah, that would be cool.
But we got to give them a price limit.
Well, one of the things you
That's
should
true.
contact is like the Alaska Woodworkers and see if they'll do some benches for you, and they can maybe have a design contest within their thing, because they do it for the Woodworking Association. I think they sponsor a little contest within their group every year, and maybe they would take you on as a project and make that, and you can get maybe 8 different kinds of benches.
Awesome.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
maybe even a semi-permanent or a permanent structure for the seating area, which would be helpful. But I don't think I'd plant any trees until you had some sort of a plan, because trees are not, you don't like being moved.
In our area, we have the Rotary Club, the Palmer Rotarians. They have designed seating benches that are covered, and they donated those to the area, even though it's on city of Palmer property, or Alaska Railroad property. But the Lions, the Palmer Lions also contribute things and stuff. So check in with those organizations too. They're always looking for a way to better the community and to help, especially nonprofits. And
Something we require for all our vendors is you get your pop-ups, and your pop-ups is 20-pound weights on every leg.
Yeah.
20 pounds. Gotta have it. Required.
We purchased those for ours.
But make every vendor, because that's like, I've seen one picked up and flown so far.
with all the
But it's
merchandise
really-
attached.
It really helps with our market when I organize, like the plan of where I put tents is to make it flexible, so you can have them be in kind of like up blocks. It makes the market look a lot cooler, even if you have fewer people. So if you have fluctuating attendance, like I do it in like 4s and 6s, so that you come in and there's like a block of 4, and maybe next week there's 6 there, or the vendors that come with just 4, and then I leave space in between those, and the more vendors there's less space, but it always looks like the market is full. It never looks empty, even though there's fewer people. So exactly. So and then what my vendors want, they all want a corner. You can get 2 sides. I want a corner. Well, what you do when you make these blocks is you make more corners, so people have more vending space.
They're all backed up to each other.
They're backed up to each other.
Yeah, it works like little
It works
pods of-
amazing.
So nobody has a truck access.
Well, and this is the issue. The farmers, we have this indoor building with backup spaces that is reserved for farmers. So like any space that has a truck access, 8x10 space, that's reserved for farmer. So that would be something else to think about, if giving priority to farmers at your market. And we have done that too. And it's just because they have different needs. Like, they have a lot more in shade for farmers. It's like crucial. I mean, we have a permanent building, but if you don't have shade, having your truck nearby for those veggies is a big deal. Like, what are you gonna do if you're just out in the sun? You get to have water. We don't have really water either for the vendors, but we water all of our stuff. It might be something like a big, water bin. That's a huge. Like I now do that. We're drinking water, spraying water to the vendors. So it seems to work really well. Parking is always going to be the bane of your existence. Like this is just the issue with farmers markets. It's like that's a good problem if you have so many people that you're having trouble with parking in your place. The thing is, it's worked really well for us as a volunteer parking attendant. It worked for a while. It works. Here's the difference between a concert and a farmer's market with a parking attendant. At a concert, everybody gets there at the same time. You can park where you want. At a farmer's market, that's not the case. You got a guy standing there like, okay, you park here, park here. Well, there's 2 guys that just pulled out that way, and this guy, that one dude, you can't run it like a concert or a big event. It's just more of a, if you have somebody out there smiling at people are a little less aggro in the parking lot. But that's about all the control. Just don't worry about the parking.
We have our vendors park off site once they unload.
Yeah.
So they go park.
But then that creates the stress on a hot day when they don't have access.
Yeah, but you have the ability with this site, it's pretty deep, you can have your farm vendors actually have their trucks parked behind them, similar to the way Spinard Market does it.
We set them up in a parallel line. We try to make the market look full by facing the road along the line. And we let the farmer farmers set up on the side where they can pull their trucks in and sit behind it. They love that. They all of them have their cars behind them. And it helps for the food vendors, the prepared food trucks, yeah, they can drive in a straight line and just kind of park. So this is the road they drive and they fill up the back front. So it's helpful, but I am looking for better layout suggestions.
So Austin started bringing chairs and tables to the show, and then one of our other vendors, one of the hot truck vendors, also brought in a couple tables and a couple chairs, and actually even provided another 10 by 10. And we put that in the middle of all of our food trucks, and that was a big change. People were really happy to have not just a place to sit, but a place to put their food, so they didn't have to sit there and do this while they're listening to music or whatever. So more tables and maybe space for those people if you guys are going to have food trucks.
Yeah, so sorry, we haven't given you.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm enjoying hearing everybody.
Awesome.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I have a question about kids' activities. So we got a sandbox off of Craigslist.
One of those fun little
and put it down, and it was such a hit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, it's literally just like a 4x4 frame filled with sand with some like cheap plastic toys, and it was full the whole time. And I'm wondering, like, what do you guys have? Like, if you guys have that, if you guys have more than that, like, I feel like we could really improve upon the kids' activities because that is keeping people there.
Yeah, I think we do the first market every year. We do it.
I like the goat parade.
The parade is awesome. Yeah.
I'm like choreographing it already.
Are you?
We don't do this, but I've seen this and it made something. Kids market, and you have a little area where the kids come and they sell and the kids buy their stuff. So like they get to set up a little table and the kids go in this little controlled area, maybe fenced or somewhere that they can't just go running in the street. And then the kids have like participation. Their parents will come with them because they don't drive yet with all that stuff. So you have parents coming to market with their kids and the kids are learning to sell. So you have this whole like, and it's really, and you know, at where I've seen it before, they didn't let the kids spend money in there. They had like those little like printed out pieces of paper that the parents would pay the manager, give them money, the kids go in, the other kids get paid those dollars, and if they lose it, it's not the end of the world, and then they can redeem it at the end of the day. But man, I'm talking about like kids loving every second of that.
That's adorable.
Kids selling to kids, it's like
Junior economy.
totally, you know, they work in your garden and they pick those strawberries or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's cool.
talking about starting some young farmers.
That's amazing.
How many of the markets here are just a big open space kind of?
We do, but it's not.
Like, we are set up, we set up the last 2 years, the mobile market outside of Baggage Middle School. And we're on the sidewalk, and the sidewalk curves. And so someone was talking about how the 10 by 10 people always wanted space between them. Well, we end up with space between it because we've either got a light pole or because of the curve, you end up with things like this. And so in some ways it's really nice, but how do you deal with the 10 by 10? And it gives a lot of the people, and some people use it and some people don't, where you walk around on the outside. And some people wouldn't want it even if it was there, they don't utilize it. So how do you deal with a 10 by 10 space if people are going to use the outside? Do you charge more?
I don't let them use the outside space. They have a 10 by 10 square. They get all their stuff in that square. That's it. Like no outside space. You can apply for variance to use your outside space, but you have to have sold over a certain number of sales the previous year.
Really?
To get extra space, and then that has to be approved by the board. So we have if you paid $2,000 in assessments the previous year, you then qualify to apply for variance because obviously you're selling a lot and you said $20,000 is lower than the previous year. And so those people, like the guy who sells carrots at our market, he sells way over that, and he can't fit all those carrots in his 10 by 10. He applies every year for his variance, and he gets an extra 10 by 10 spot next to his space. Then he puts all his carrots in. But it's not that everybody who wants extra space can just come to me and be like,
We
hey.
sell 2 10 by 10s to some people.
Well, you guys are limited on space though, right?
Well, so we are yes, we're limited on space. We have quite a bit of space. And some people do a variance request for 2 spaces for the whole year too. For instance, like, who's got 2 spaces? We have a guy who does woodworking, and he and he peels the logs while he sits there. He's just peeling his logs, and so he uses one to peel and one for his furniture. You know, and he sells over that $20,000 every year. But it's just, I mean, it's a reapply every year for that variance because I don't have enough for everybody to have 2 spaces.
Does anybody sell 5x5s? Like we have a couple of vendors who use, one guy makes vegan bread. That's all he sells. He sells about probably 20, maybe 2 dozen loaves a weekend. And he just has an umbrella and a round table, and then that's where he sits, or a card table. And we had another woman who did embroidery work, and another one who did knitting, really fabulous knitting. But she didn't have that much stuff, and it was work. She had a little stand, a little table, and a little chair. But, so we charge 10, is that?
10, 20, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely welcome somebody that wants a smaller space. I could fit in.
Yeah, and we're able to, and that's the other thing about the curb, it allows you to accommodate some of this because all of a sudden you can fill in a hole that a pocket that
We do
you
small
might be
tables
able to-
inside the building too for vendors or just
Yeah.
like we have quite a few jewelry folks that are sitting inside in smaller tables. They don't cost that tiny, like $5. They still pay 10% of our market's model is a percentage, so everybody's paying percentage, and then the space fee is flat rate, $10. Everybody pays $10 for their space unless you're inside that big space, you pay 15. It's the 10%, which is
Do you guys have a cap?
no. No, it goes, and the bigger vendors really carry the market. Like, you know, this guy who sells this many tens and tens of thousands of dollars of carrots, he pays thousands and thousands of dollars to have his table, and someone right next to him pays a few hundred a year for the same size table. But that's, I mean, he doesn't have to come and sell all his carrots there if they come with another market. But it's valuable enough that the foot traffic we have there for him to come and sell his carrots retail to pay us 10%. I mean, that's how we bought our property and have a building and have bathrooms and have food henge and, you know, a stage and all this stuff. Is that people have been willing to pay 10% of their income to the market, and it generates, if it's a busy day, busy market.
What did you say, 84,000?
Brad, remind people how old the town of our farmers
37
market
years.
That's what I just asked.
Wow. We didn't do this overnight.
So how many people mix their farm vendors with their jewelry vendors?
We do at our market.
They're all
Mostly,
So how many people separate them out?
Consolidate like the farm.
Like all the farmers in pretty much in one spot and all?
The market layout that I inherited, it's a long parking lot, a pavilion area, covered pavilion and a long parking lot. And then we have a street in back of it that we close off for the day. And so traditionally, we've had all the food booths and artisans and stuff up here, and maybe 1 or 2 farmers mixed in, and then there was kind of a glob of farmers here. And then to answer your question about the kids' activities, then there was this pocket of kids' activities and then more food booths down here. And after running this, or transitioning for the last year, I noticed, gosh, this back street is just kind of bare. You know, it's not, everybody's up here. So how can we make this better? So going back to the performance area, recommended to the board, take these kids' activities. It was buckets of soapy water with balloon, or the bubble stuff, right? Stupid, simple, cheap, best pictures you'll ever get in your life. Smiley kids blowing big bubbles, okay? So we're going to take those, and so I'm up near the performance stage. I'm eliminating a space here, and I'm eliminating a space here, and we're creating the family fun zone up in the performance area, because the best thing, in my mind, is kids dancing to this music and parents being able to sit and relax for 2 seconds, listen to a performance, watch a performance, and their kids are right there enjoying themselves. So we're going to have, like, we put out chalk last year just to see what would happen. And we got some of the most beautiful artwork that I have seen ever. And then so the bubbles were going to move up, and we have people that come through and they do the twisty balloon things, you know, for a donation or whatever. And then, so I'm not sure if that'll happen this year, but we'll see what's going to happen. But we're definitely, I'm looking at getting some hula hoops, you know, and making a little, we have a beautiful grass area off to the side of the stage. And I'm like, oh, we can really do some fun. And then strategically placing my cotton candy vendor here, and my dipped gourmet ice cream person here, and my cookie person, you know what I mean? Like those kid-oriented vendors. Exactly. And so that's what I came up with for this year. So to kind of help you out. And then for the farmers, and I've already had to rattle some cages, and believe me, the feedback is coming, but I want to center them on that back street a little bit more down the middle. There's two reasons why. Because if somebody is specifically going for the vegetables and they don't want to deal with this crowd up here, they're all together. The other part is I got farmers, and I love them to death. They're working last minute to get their produce out and get it boxed and get it ready to go. And so they're coming in at the last minute. And so I need to be able to make sure that they can, there's a way that they can park, unload, and move. Because I had farmers come in at 1 o'clock, 3 hours into the market. And I'm like, you can't do that, you know, because they were driving, like they'd tear down the road closure, drive right through, park. I'm like, no. And I'm getting cursed out in the middle of my own market. I'm like, no. So yeah, so it's kind of a restructure, a redesign to a degree without really making a lot of the older vendors that have been there a long time nervous. I want my existing space, and so yeah, that's my suggestion. More family fun and promoting it as such too. Rain or shine. You know, I got pictures on my page of this baby that's in a full head-to-toe rain gear outfit, just jamming out the music. You know,
There's your poster
this is
child
awesome.
right there.
Right, put that baby on there.
Yeah, no, exactly. As soon as you do that,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here to, you know, so, but that's some stuff. And then, you know, maybe the musicians that perform too, they like to invite the kids up and make it, you know, really, really fun. So that was my take on last year, and that's what my goal this year is for Friday Flings, is to more family fun, more community, or, you know, kid oriented too. So.
I guess I have a silly question for everyone. I don't know if we're unique in this or not, but our only stipulation is that it's Alaskan grown or Alaskan made.
Yeah.
Does everybody follow that same program here? Yeah. So the question over to Mark.
So we had gotten to this point that was our only requirement, Alaska grown or Alaska made. And I was just saying that this year we actually I came up with the metrics because we were having a lot of local businesses that are doing Alaska made, Alaska made stuff. They have the Alaska made logo on their stuff. That have a retail space in town, like a coffee shop or big greenhouse production that have a whole storefront, you know, that want to come in. And what we're trying to do is take true to our market's mission of for farmers and for, you know, cottage industry. So this metrics, what it does is it weights everything. If you're a farmer, there's a score, a horticulturalist, a crafter, hot food, you know, they're graded with a score. And then if you're represented by the owner, is weighted by the score 85% of the time or more, and how much labor you have is weighted with a score. And so I think if you get 75 points or less, you're small enough to be at the market. And I've got it weighted so that farmers can have as much labor as they want, as long as they don't have an off-site retail space. You're never getting kicked out for how much labor or how big your farm grows. But if you're a hot food vendor and you've got a restaurant, and one employee or too big, you can't be there. And so, like, this is something that we're doing with them because it's like, you know, as you move forward, I mean, this is something later on, I guess, but like, yeah, people see in town that there's a lot of foot traffic at our market compared to their restaurant, and they're like, hey, let me get a second pop-up food truck at your place so I can get some of this. It's like, no, because what happens to the new guy who wants to start a new restaurant and the only place he has to go is my market?
Right.
It's, well, that's the space for him. And so, yeah.
So when he gets so successfully owns a store, you think, wow.
Yes, they grow out, and that's actually
See,
this is exactly
nurtured them
this
to
is
that
actually the mission of the market is to grow the businesses of the future of our towns, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
There was a pita place. It's a perfect example. It's my favorite. He was at the market, line, super long line, busy, sells out by like 1:30. He built a building down the street from the market and now has a restaurant down the street.
And that's awesome.
And everybody's like, And it's great because let's say you do get bigger, and that's a success. I'm going to celebrate with you, but I'm going to let you know that you can't come back. You actually will know because you're like, you can go through and put in your score and be like, oh, I'm over. We have a board member right now that started a salsa business 3 years ago. They're getting too big. She's on the board. She's like, I'm going to have to resign because I'm not going to fit under this anymore.
So again, you're working with limited space. If you had, I mean, would you?
Yeah, we have 3 acre. Well, we have a 3-acre property, but a lot of it's parking. You know, like I can limit parking and have more spaces. But at the same time, it's like it's this model that we're trying to continue. And actually, it's good when you have that attrition of like their favorite restaurant's gone. Somebody that comes there sees that as an opportunity. They're like, I can cook tacos, you know, or like I really like making pizza. You know, no one's making pizza here, and I can, you know, like we just got a wood-fired pizza oven at our vendor last year.
Nice.
Big one. Anyway, so yeah, that's really our mission: is to keep it for the small guy. And as a farmer, like who sells vegetable starts and stuff, the last thing I want to see is like a big greenhouse. That's what they do. Their business, have a very efficient business, come and sell the same exact product. You know, that's my space. You know, so. Just because it's the last grown or last community doesn't necessarily meet the mission.
And you would intend to maintain that model regardless of how much space you may have at any given point in time? So even if the space was just universe?
I do have, and actually, I've never turned anybody away for space. So we do have space. Like I could let Alaska Coffee Roasters bring his coffee. I've got a corner for him to put his coffee kiosk, but it's not going to happen.
So we have a coffee guy who roasts it on site and grinds it and makes pour-overs.
Nice.
And it takes you 5 or 10 minutes to get a cup of coffee, depending on where you hit it in the cycle. And then somebody else wanted to bring in the steam bath, and I said, no. I mean, why do we want, well, they may be owned by somebody in Anchorage, but and even Kawada Brothers, they're not, it's not the same scale of stuff. It's like you're talking about, they have spaces all over the place.
And this all needs to be written down. You can't just be like, this is our
Right, I was
policy.
going to say, remember, this is a 37-year-old market whose mission from day one has been supporting, you know, small farmers, small businesses, very strict rules,
And they
a
have a
board.
beautiful building.
Right, but
the
don't.
state paid for it, by the way.
The state paid for it.
The state, we got a grant from the state, and they built it.
35 years.
No, that's 94, 93.
So we haven't talked yet about permanent structures. We know in Alaska, this market is a permanent structure. We know here in Homer, the Homer market has permanent market stands, and that space isn't used for anything else, and farmers can come in and just use the stands. What sort of infrastructure do any of your other markets have that is?
Because there's also an indoor market in town as well,
Here.
which is an old historic building in Homer. Yeah, we're kind of developing it gradually into an indoor market. That could potentially be an outdoor market too during the summer, but it does compete a little bit with the outdoor market anyways. But so we have a lot more craft vendors there.
And we have a 24. We have a all year round market in the Sears Mall. Now it's up to 3 days.
So it's year round, but there's this infrastructure that stays there all week. It's just people come in and set up their tables and their booths.
Yeah,
Right.
it's in the center of
So-
the mall. So.
If I'm not mistaken, the USDA Farmers Market Promotion Program or the Local Food Promotion Program grants are now available to fund things like permanent farmers market infrastructure. So I was wondering if anybody had been thinking about that, or if Will knew of any market that had taken advantage of USDA money to put up a structure.
Yeah, I could tell you offhand, but I know that, especially for doing your research and stuff like that, those grants will help you do the first stage of planning for that sort of thing. That round of that grant is due March 27th.
27th, yeah.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
Get right. Yeah.
So I guess these two programs are linked arm in arm under USDA Agricultural Marketing Service, and the one is FMPP, Farmers Market Promotion Program. The other one is LFPP, Local Food Promotion Program.
Yeah. And there's some other grant. In the fall there's a community something grant that I'll look up to.
Community food
Food
Yeah,
programs, through
If the
NIFA.
deadline is March 27th and you do not have a grants.gov account yet, you're probably not going to make it.
That's true. That is true.
It just takes that long to get your approvals and get them to come back and get back to you and to get your grant.gov set up before you can ever even see the grant
Yeah.
or the RFP or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
It's true. Yeah, I mean, if you have any desire to ever do a federal grant, it's wise to jump in and get a grants.gov account going because
Get your John's number.
it takes a really long time to set up.
I've heard you should write it before
Ridiculous.
the application even opens.
Well, I would say if
I would say do it like right now.
Well, I would say if you don't have your grants.gov, et cetera, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Go through the process of like the application and stuff this year, knowing full well that you're never going to make that deadline, but make yourself go through the steps and walk through it all. Chances are the feds will change it a little bit on you next year, so you won't get, you won't be able to use that same application, but go through the process way before you're ready to actually apply to.
I'll tell you from experience, it's super frustrating to get it all done. You think you've got that deadline going, and it's the grant stopped up, things aren't coming in time.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn, I had some. That happened to me like 3 years ago.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Sure.
Has water been addressed?
I'm wondering about water at this site. They would like, when they like water.
How many people have water on their site?
All we have to do is stick a spigot in the ground.
Do you actually use it?
What's that? We
Just tap into the main line.
water.
You have,
So you
you
don't
have
have
some
water.
on-site toilets,
But there's
Outhouses.
We have the ones in back.
but
of
not
the
porta
business.
potties.
We had
Yeah.
That's what you guys have, right?
we have a
Yeah, we have an outhouse dropped every Saturday.
Yeah, that's.
And then I have a portable hand washing sink that's on wheels that I wheel out and
Yeah.
set that up.
Nice.
What about electricity and food trucks? Food trucks, are they all
We
generators?
don't allow food trucks or generators on our property. Like,
Generator.
no noise, but we do have power for very, very few vendors. We can't, for very few people get it. Usually the food vendors, we have this building that we built for the 6 food vendors, and they have power. But there's no power out on the blacktop. There's power inside the building, but the farmers don't use it. And they're just like, people are charging for cell phones in there and stuff.
What's interesting about generators, there's some that really don't make much noise, and there's some that.
Yeah.
We limit ours to 70 decibels or less, I think it is, and then there's no electricity available. So we have very few food trucks that have generators, and they're limited on what they can. So we have strict guidelines on them.
We really have more food trucks than we do food people.
So is 70 an arbitrary number, or do they sell generators with that metric on them?
I have no clue. All I know is that was what's on the app, and I'll believe you. I've never operated a generator in my life. The man could tell me it's 70 decibels. Okay.
Any inverter generator is going to be just
Quiet.
Yeah.
inverter. That's the important part. Is make sure it's an inverter. You know, Honda's
And
are.
there's no fuse.
What is that running?
That's
You know?
really important too. I would-
So we have a couple of those in mind.
Usually the fix is they put a box on top of it. That doesn't seem to do a whole lot.
Inverter, it's a long way to go.
Well, last year we had a couple of people that were positioned them where they could actually, they were out of the traffic, so they could actually stick the generator on a long extension cord out in the woods.
Yeah.
Back 40 sort of cut the noise dramatically.
Yeah.
We had 2 ice cream vendors for a while, or snow cone people or whatever, which I never figured out.
And I can talk about it tomorrow, but it might be something to look into. Our insurance company that gives us liability at the market now requires all of our vendors to carry liability policy of their own because they're not covered. Well, they are, but anyway, this might be something that in the future comes up, and then it changes for like what. Anyway, your rates change for what you allow your vendor to have, and anyway, that's something I'm surprised not all the markets in Alaska have been gotten hit with it yet. You know, so this happened to us 3 years because last year was our second year of requiring an insurance program.
They call it farmers market when it happened. I thought that they were requiring the vendors to carry liability insurance now, and there was kind of a small ruckus about that. And some people couldn't do it and left. And
Where at?
I'm in Palmer. It's the Colony Farmers Market. It's held at the historical train depot. So I thought I had heard something about that. But I've heard that it's smart to have that insurance regardless. Whether you're participating or, you're overseeing.
Is this
So it's good business
insurance that covers like food products?
liability. So at my farm right here, I have $1 million.
Like if I ate a carrot and died from it?
Well, so my
That-
policy that I carry for my farm, which is not what I'm talking about for the farmer's market, that covers me from the liability from that person suing me
Right.
for that, up to $1 million.
Right.
Protects your personal
And,
assets,
and,
right?
and also, this policy covers me driving my truck with my veg in the back. If I go dress, if I have a product, if I have a fire at the farm,
Right.
But, talk about it tomorrow. But there is another solution that's not that overarching, just for market vendors. Because some market vendors are not going to be able to get insurance. Like, one of our vendors has a house that's not to code at his farm, and the insurance company will not give him the farm insurance that I have. And what does he do? So I came up with a solution. Talk about it tomorrow, dude.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're eating us. I have to wait.
It's an umbrella policy you can find that I found.
Okay.
And vendors can buy a policy for their 10 by 10 space for the duration of the market. And if they're going to be for a shorter period of the summer, they're not going to be, because we're first come, first served market. They come when they want or not, but you have to have the insurance now. So it's less if you're coming for a shorter amount of time and more if you're coming for the whole time.
Oh, that reminds me, that's a question. First come, first serve. How many of you have people sign up the week before so that you know who's coming? Or do you have so much consistency that it's not a problem?
Last year, so I deal with seasonal vendors and then partial seasonal vendors. So they pay for the whole summer, like, I'm going to be here. And all of a sudden I'm looking at an empty spot going, okay. So I finally got hip to the game that I got to babysit the vendors. So I start calling up everybody come Monday, going, Friday's coming, are you going to be here? No. Fine. Awesome. Thanks. Call up a standby. Are you going to be here? Can you take it? Da-da-da. So I've got line after line, hopefully, to fill that space. But I have people that'll roll through and be like, oh, the wind's a little off. I'm not going to even bother. Dude, you're losing money. You just paid for this spot. I don't get it. Or the other part is they don't have a tent. They don't want to buy a tent. So they set up and then they leave.
But see, we only charge by the week, right?
Yeah.
We don't have any, well, do we have any?
We're supposed to penalize them if they don't show up. No show.
Yeah.
But we don't really have anybody who pays for the summer.
Yeah.
You had one.
People that can pay for the whole season. And then they can get a discounted rate. So that's their ultimate discount. It's that they pay for the whole season. Then if they do 6 days or more, or 6 weeks or more, then it's somewhat of a discount. And then if they are a standby vendor, which means I'm going to call them and say, hey, I got a space for you, that they're going to pay $50 to land in that space for the day and go from there. So I kind of have to have layers of vendors. Like I know I have my seasonal spots, and then I know, well, it's gonna win today, so this one's not gonna show. So I'll pay you, and kind of cover my butt that way because I have to make sure those spots are filled.
I just run around.
It's not about the money; it just has to be full.
Oh, you're here. Okay, how about there?
Yeah, no, you literally pull. I don't even know how you do it.
Well, I know some people are going to be there. Like once the farmers have veggies,
Somebody's husband died.
And stuff happens. Yeah, accidents. I mean, things happen, and you just go with it. I guess that's what I did.
But it is weird to have empty spots.
Yeah.
That's why this block thing works real good.
Yeah, so right now we can't do the block thing
Drawn this
because
thing.
we're on these two curves.
That's right.
I can tell you how to do it at South Anchorage.
Yeah.
What?
I can tell you how we do it at South Anchorage, or how it's done at South Anchorage.
Go for it, Arthur.
I was going to ask you, yeah.
Every vendor has to have product liability insurance. From day one, that's non-negotiable. You have it, or you're not a vendor.
Say it again.
Product liability insurance is minimal. I mean, it could be $300 a year or $1,000. I don't care. Get the insurance. A dog bite. Just think about the damage that it does. So that product liability insurance is going to cover you if someone gets sick. It's going to cover you if someone trips. It's going to cover lots of things. And the last thing we want to do is get sued out of business because we've got some assets. So, with that being said, everybody at the South Market is going to pay up front. Generally speaking, there's a few exceptions to that, but the rule is you're gonna pick when you're gonna be there. You're gonna pick when you're not gonna be there. It's gonna add up. You're gonna pay for it, and you're in. If you choose to skip a market week, if someone were to choose to skip it, they need to call and say, "Hey, I'm not gonna be there tomorrow," so that there's no hole, so you can move the market around, so that there's no. So when the customers come there, they don't walk in and go, "Wow, wow, it's not very full today." It always looks full. The tents are always touching. It's always connected.
So how do you enforce that? Do you penalize them for not showing and not notifying you?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty
Have you seen
non-negotiable.
Arthur mad?
We don't read them.
Have you seen him mad?
No, can you demonstrate?
Did you go?
Oh, you're funny. It's
That's pretty vicious.
Well, let me say this. One of the differences between Arthur's market and some of the other markets, Arthur's a dictator.
Yeah.
It's his market.
Yeah.
You play by his rules or you're out. There's no board. There's no appeal.
Yeah.
That's
There's
why I
no.
like that too.
And did you start out like that? In 2006, did you have everybody sign up, prepay, the whole 9 yards? Didn't you run around
Yeah.
like a chicken for a little
I ran
couple
out
years?
like a chicken. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing, but I needed money for advertising and that's why like having a cheap market, like $10 a week, that's fine. But I think it might be a little bit of a disservice to you and the vendors. And so the very first year in 2006, I needed money, and so I had a $400 fee. If you were going to come to the South Anchorage Market, you had to pay $400 right up front, and it was $25 a week. And that generated enough income for the market. I went to ADN and bought ads. I spent it all, man. I spent my money buying advertising for those vendors. I spent their money on them.
Right.
That's a good way to do it.
And so, but that initially got us started. And anyway, so people were signing up. They're picking their dates. There's a market map, a map of the market. It's all plotted out, and just go through every Sunday, going through and go, whoever's here or not here, and we'll just check everybody off. When they're not there, we just condense or expand the market.
So you have a map for each day. So
A map for every single week.
Yeah.
And then the morning comes around. It's not me anymore. I've got people that I got managers that take care of it, and they have the map, and people show up and they're like, "Where
What
am I?"
software are you using for that?
And they're directed to where they're at.
Nothing.
It's just
I would say this though, as far as like what Amy said about the dictator. Yeah, she's right. I'm the boss. It's all going to stop with me. But the bottom line is, and I read books about farmers markets that it's bad for a farmer to run a farmers market because he's in competition with his vendors. But I look at it maybe a little bit different than what the book written in Lower 48 says. I look at my neighbors, whether at the farmers market or on my farm, as my partners. I am not competing with the vendor next to me. And people are like, "That's weird." And
Well, our vendors seem to be that way. They all seem to be friends. They watch each other's kids. They watch each other's.
They're
They
partners.
got to go to the restroom or they got to take a break for a while. So I feel like our markets
Very community
people
minded.
feel like
Yeah,
they're
ours is
talking
pretty
They
together.
help each other break down.
So it's a partnership.
Yeah.
It's rather than, but however, I've been doing this for 12 years. And what I'll tell you in that time frame, every once in a while you have somebody that feels a little territorial. And they decide they want to talk to you about that territory thing. And that's where being the boss makes that into a real quick conversation.
Yeah.
They can participate or not, but we're all in this together. And so South Anchorage is pushing 40 vendors now, 40 partners. And so that market map's written, we're all in this together, and I don't typically have a problem with someone not showing or calling. I understand things happen. Call me. Let me know if you're coming or not. I mean, John and Barb, they're there every Saturday. And, seem like that? The vendors are pretty agreeable?
It seems pretty good.
Yep.
They're all invested.
Well, I was going to say they're a lot more invested.
Yeah, the investment's there.
It looks good.
Well, it's 12 years old. It's 37 years old. They had to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere.
We're
The other
still
thing that
there.
I don't think we have time to get to it because I think our time is up, but after the South Anchorage Farmers Market started to demonstrate success, then Arthur found a sponsor for the market.
Yeah.
So I don't know if sponsorships is a subject
I'm not sure that it is.
on the
either.
agenda at some point, but finding a sponsor for your market, a local business, a bank, an organization that wants to benefit from all those people gathering every weekend, They can help you pay for signs, for street signs, for a market manager, for someone to write about the market, etc. And I'll just throw out one other thing. As a parent, as a farmer's market shopper who likes to take my kids because I work full time and Saturdays are kids' time, right? My very favorite farmer's market kids activity is fish print t-shirts, where the kids got to paint the fish and then make a t-shirt.
Awesome.
Trout Unlimited did the event at the South Anchorage Farmers Market many moons ago, and my kids still wear the shirts. Like,
Maybe Bass Pro Shops could help you guys out because it's in the neighborhood.
yeah,
they
and
are.
it was.
That would be really cool.
I drove like 60 miles
Just to do
to
that.
just to do fish print t-shirts with my kids at the market. So
So if I install that at Friday for you.
we'll be there. I'll run it for you.
I-
right?
We're not.
I'll run it for you.
I have a question for everybody.
It's
How
awesome.
many people have an ATM at the farmer's market?
I had
I wish we had
two
one.
stolen from my market. And I have one at my market. Now, oh yeah.
He's a seasoned vet over
Oh
there.
man, if you're opening a bag of worms, bring an ATM in your building.
We've got a very happy gas station right next
We
door.
have theirs.
You have one?
APU has one. I mean, it's not the market thing. It's just that there's one on the list.
Mark, you guys, you have
But it's useful.
I own an ATM. The market owns an ATM.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, you know, Amy and I have talked about this quite a bit, you know, and I'm like, you think I could get wealthy? Jesus. So, I personally feel like the ATM is, I think every market should have one. I think they should own it. I think they should be in control of it. I think people that use the ATM should know that the profits from that ATM are going to that market. It could be thousands of dollars in profit. Well, that's a huge deal.
And it stays on site?
No.
What's that?
No.
You take it with you.
You take it with you?
Yep. Put it
On
on the truck, and off the truck every week.
So we had it in our permanent building, poured concrete, anchored to concrete, and they brought a truck with a chain and
I think it's on cost or something.
so they did it twice. So actually right now, this spring, I'm having a concrete building constructed with metal doors that I will open every day at market. We have two
That's a
ATMs.
good
We have
idea.
two ATMs because we're so busy. One ATM, the line gets way too long. So we have two
Right.
ATMs.
Yeah.
And so this thing will fit two ATMs, and then I lock it down. And actually last year, we had a service come after we got robbed, after they took it. We had a service come and take the money out every day.
Do you feel comfortable telling the crowd what kind of profit you're seeing off these?
Yeah, so I think a few thousand. I think we did like $6,000 or something.
In profit.
And that's just from the fees that you're collecting?
That $1.50, $1.50.
Yeah, those will charge $2 or $3.
Yeah.
How expensive is an ATM? How expensive is an ATM?
There's quite a few options on that.
Okay.
You guys are asking the same question.
Oh.
Yeah. There's people that have a service that you can pay them, and it's their ATM, and they'll come and put the money in, and it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to do anything because they're making money.
But they make all their fees
But
back?
you do make money, but that fee goes up. So instead of just charging your $2, it's $3 because you get $2, but they get $1. You know, so the owning your own. You said
What did it cost you up front, Arthur?
I think I paid about $3,000. Own the ATM. It's my responsibility. I put the cash in it. I totally, or someone else. Now that I have a job, someone else takes care of it. But yeah, it's our responsibility.
Here, Arthur, 3 and 4.
Yeah. So we're getting a sign here. I need to wrap up this session.
No, I mean-
And,
minutes, 7 DC.
yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, this is the bathroom break. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for showing me pictures of the dirt parade.
no problem.
Totally gonna copy that.
Yeah,
We'll find some goats.
I know, we've got live chickens at ours, and
Everybody,
yeah, so we're getting like, oh my god, we called the health department, and they're like, they're live, they're called animal control. Nice.
Hey, get rid of all this stuff. Leave all this stuff. Leave all this stuff. Leave all this stuff. Leave all this stuff.